Hakadosh Boker or Masechet Sanhedrin Daf Yomi Daf Memdalad Amud Aleph 4041. Says the Gemara, we just asked why is it that Achan was punished? If this was a hidden Avirah, so why in the world was he punished? Answers the Gemara, since his wife and children knew it, so it was not considered something hidden, was considered something which was galui, revealed. So says the Gemara, Chata Yisrael, when Yeshua came and he wanted to know why is it, right, that Bnei Yisrael are going to be punished, so HaKadosh Baruch Hu said Chata Yisrael. What does that mean, Chata Yisrael? Amar Rabbi Abba bar Zavda, Afal pi shechata Yisrael hu. Even though the Bnei Yisrael sinned, we're still Yisrael. We are called Yisrael. That's what Afal pi shechata Yisrael hu. Amar Rabbi Abba, that's what I know. That's what people say. Asa dekai ben echilfe asa shemeh. The hadas, which is between the tzmachim and all things, when you have the hadas, the myrtle, which is going to be between the tzmachim, which grow around it, it's still considered a hadas. I mean, even though you've got bad things all around it, it's still hadas. The same thing, Bnei Yisrael, even if you have people which are sinners, Yisrael, we are still considered Yisrael. וגם עברו את בריתי אשר ציוויתי אותם וגם לקחו מן החרם וגם גנבו וגם כי חשו וגם שמו וככליכם. אמר רבי לה משום רבי יהודה מספרתם למד שבר החן 5 חומשי תורה שלמעלה 5 גם. It says he was over on the 5 חומשי Torah, but it says gam, which means not only was he ma'al b'cherem, he also was over on all the Yisurei Torah. So okay, the Marsha says not mamash exactly that on each one of the Torah, but it says v'gam beriti v'gam lachu min hacherem, right? He says kol shemul Hashem v'gam ganvu, which is gam ki chashu, which is the Seret Dibrot, also v'shivit Hashem v'rosho. There's a whole bunch of things over here. If you look in the footnote about exactly what does that mean, he was over on chamisha chumshe Torah. Okay, now he says ve'amar Rabbi Lam mishum Rabbi Yudá bar Mesparta achan moshech bolato ayad. Do you know there was moshech zola? But it says that he went against the Brit Milah. So says the Gemara Pshita, it's obvious. Right? Why? Rabbi Lai himself is saying that Acham was over on the entire Torah. So it's mashma he was mechalel the Brit. The Brit is also part of the Torah. So he says, no, mitzvah gufelo pakar. I would have said there was a mitzvah in his body he didn't go against. It's only, the other mitzvot or whatever. Kamashmalan, that even on his Brit Milah. Asa nevela b'Yisrael. That it says Achan was chayav mitah because he did a nevela b'Yisrael. What does that mean? He did an abomination, a disgrace to Yisrael. He went and he violated Nara Orasa. Because it's written, and it's written over there, the Nara Orasa, which is Inta, she did a Nevala, that's why she's going to be killed. So says in Pshita, obviously, if he was over on the entire Torah, obviously he did that. So Maudatim, I would have thought, say, he didn't do such a bad thing. That's exactly what he did. Ravina says, Dine, the din was that he's going to be punished like an animal, which means that he gets the kila. Not that he actually did this, but rather is that he gets the same halacha, the same punishment. So Amaleh Reshkaluta says Reshkaluta Ravuna to Ravuna Aktiv Tzot Vayikach Yoshua Tacham Ben Zerach. And they burnt everything in the fire, and then they did Vayskilot Avanim. Im hu chata banavunotav me'achatu. He says, I don't understand you. He says, why is it if he sinned? Why did the boys, the girls? What did they do? Everyone's going to be killed? Amaleh, and he says, according to you, according to you, if he sinned, why is all Israel sinning? They wanted to come and they wanted to get them afraid. So to here, they did all these things, right? They took it with the family and everything, not to kill them, to make them afraid. That means they're going to see what's happening to their father. They're killing him publicly and all those things. They're going to be afraid. They would never do such a thing in their lives. So he says what? They did two different things. They did serefa and sekila, because it says vayisrefu otam ba'esh and vayiskelu. Sekila and serefa. He says no. The property, whatever could be burnt, was burnt. Whatever was going to be the sekila, which means zahav and kesef and begadim, they had to burn it. But a shor and baalei chayim was going to be killed with sekila. Right, what does that mean now? He sees an aderet shina. What does that mean? Rav Amar itztela demilta. We're talking about a talit of tzemenaki. When Shmuel says sarbela detzrifa, we're talking about a beged which is savua betzrif, which is a very fine, silk, a type of a tzrif of tzeva. So what happens? It says over here, right, that this is what they found over there. So it says here, "Vayatziku lifnei Hashem." Amar Nachman, "Ba v'chavatam lifnei makom." So Yoshua came and he put him in front of Hashem. Amar lefanav ribono shel olam. Elu tareg ruba shel Sanhedrin. He says, well, because of these chafatzim, you're going to kill all of the Sanhedrin or the majority of the Sanhedrin. Tichtiv v'yakum mehem anshe ha'ai ki 63 people. 36 people. V'tanya 36 mamash, 36 people mamash were killed. These are the words of Rabbi Yehuda. It was mamash 36 people. V'alon l'meru ki 36 ish. Ela ze yair b'menashe. they killed Yair ben Menashe, which was like Ruba Shel Sanhedrin. That means he was like Mamash, one of the Gdolim of the Shivim Ve'echad. So therefore, it's like he was 36 Dayanim. So therefore, what? Because of these utensils that he took from the Cherem, because of that, you're going to have the majority of the Sanhedrin killed. Because again, the majority of the Sanhedrin is 36. 36 is already the majority of the Sanhedrin, and we already said Yair ben Menashe is already going to be the Chokhmah of Ruba Shel Sanhedrin. Okay, Amar Rav Nachman, Amar Rav says Rav Nachman name Rav. My dictate was in the pasuk. Tacharonim yidaber rash ve'ashir ya'aneh azud. This is a very famous pasuk, by the way. This pasuk in Mishnah teaches you that when a person is really poor, he speaks right with tacharonim. If he's rich, he speaks azut. By the way, the Brisker Rav, there was a famous story with the Brisker Rav that somebody came to him and he asked for tzedakah, and then he came and he started screaming at him this and that and that, and whatever. He gave him a little bit something, and the guy started screaming. He left, and then the Brisker Rav went and he said, Baruch Hashem. So what Baruch Hashem? No, he's not poor, he's rich. They went and said, how do you know? He says this pasuk. Meaning when you have a person that's asking for tzedakah and he's speaking be'azut, you know that he's not poor. Because it says here, ashid ya'ane azut. A poor person will only speak tachronim. Tachronim yidaber rash, he comes and he says, this is a pasuk regarding to Moshe Rabbeinu. Ashid ya'ane azut, that's talking about Yoshua. He comes and he says, because when Moshe Rabbeinu used to come and pray, he used to do a b'lashon rakah. Right? But Yoshua was doing it ba'azut. We're going to see now. My time, what's the reasoning? Why do you say that? He says, he placed it in front of Hashem. Pinchas didn't do that. He says, he did this. He stopped the Magifah. It doesn't say vayitpalel. He said vayfalel. מלמד שעשה פלילות. He was like, he dayan. He started making a judgment. In kono with Hashem. Bava Chavatani threw them on the floor. There's some Zimri ben Salu and Kozbi Batzul V'Yamakom V'Manav. Ribono Shalom. Al Elu, on these two people, Yipru Asim Arba he said 24,000 people the Jews are going to die. But rather, so you can't tell me, Sahib, is that Pinchas also did the exact same thing like Yoshua. So he says, but rather, Ve'ela Mehacha. Lama He'avarta He'avir et Ha'ama et Ha'yerden Hazeh Latet Odam Yadam Mori Lavadenu. He come and he said, why did you come and you give us the Mori to kill us out? So ask the Gemara, that's called a zut, that Yoshua went and he said to Hashem, why did you bring us over the Jordan River in order to kill us out with Amori? He says, Moshe also said the same thing. So he says, but from here it says, when Yoshua came and he said, he came and he answered, maybe we should have come and we shouldn't have gone across the Jordan River. And therefore from there it's like Kilu that he was speaking azut to Hashem. So says Hashem to Yoshua, kum lech, get up. Right? He says, Kumlach, Tarisha b'simlam l'kadosh baruch hu, shelcha kashem mishalayim. You should know the avirah that you just were oved is worse than the avirah of Israel. Why? Ani amarti, I said, v'yabev lochem et hayden takimu. Et avanim alevi. When you guys are going to go back through the Jordan River, you're going to put the stones. V'atem nichaktem, and you went 60 mil, until Hareval, before you did the mitzvah. What does that mean? That means that in itself is already an ashma. That what are you doing? You should have done it immediately. What? You're traveling. Do it right away. Batar dinafak, after Rabbi Shila went on the Bet Midrash, Okim Rav Amura Alei, he put a Turgman Vedarash and he was Doresh. Kasher Tiva Hashem Moshe Avdo, Ken Tiva Moshe et Yoshua, V'chenes Yoshua lo yisi davar mikol asher Tiva et Moshe. Im Ken, what do you mean that in Kumlach? Amar le'ata garamta lahem, you caused them the Puranut, right? Because you went and you said that they're not allowed to take the Cherem of Yericho, because basically Hashem never told them that they can't do that. He invented it. What does that mean? I never told you that you're not allowed to. So since you invented the Averah, you were the cause of this entire concept. And then all of a sudden he comes and he sees a person that's in front of him with a sword. You remember this is the famous Gemara Masechet Megillat, the Gimel Udalef, to do with the Malach, right? So we're going to see here. And he says, Halanu atao, well, you're with us or you're against us? So Vayomer lo ki ani sar tzva Hashem, I'm sar tzva Hashem. Atabati, now I came. Vayipol Yoshua b'nav v'ratzav yishtachu. So he came and he bowed down. Hechi avidachi, he asked the Gemara the same question that I said over there. Ve'amar Rabbi Yochanan sasul adam shiten shalom lechavero balayla. You're never allowed to say shalom to your friend at nighttime. Why? Chashinan shem hashedu. Maybe it's a demon. So what are you doing? It looks like a human being, but really it's a demon, right? So therefore he answers shaneatam. Here it's different because he said the names. Ani sar tzva Hashem. He says, I am sar tzva Hashem, and we know that the demons will not come and say something falsely. The demon Meshach, maybe he's lying. Doesn't mean that we have a tradition. We have a tradition that the Shadim will never come and say Shem Shamayim Nevatala. So the fact that they actually came and he said that in such a fashion, we know that it was actually 100% true. Okay, Memdala de Mubet, 44b. Amarle, so he said, so the malach comes and he tells Yoshua, yesterday, last night you came, and what happened was that you didn't bring the Torah, and now you're not learning Torah. So So says Yoshua, on which one are you coming for? For the Torah or the Korbanot? So he says, Amaleh atabati. Now I came. What does that mean now? On the Tabitul Torah. Right, there's a whole question. Why does this mean Torah? Tabati is some of the tais v'atakitu dachem tashira azot. Where is it the ta? There's a whole thing. Why is now? Right, that now is on the concept of the Torah. Miyad v'yalim Yeshua b'layla betoch ha'emek. Immediately he comes and he goes into the emek. Amar Rabbi Yochanan says, he went and he started delving deep into the omek of the halacha. Ta'amar Shmuel Barunya says Shmuel Barunya Mishmei Derav, the name of Rav Gadol Talmud Torah Yutam Akravat Tamidin. You learn from here that Talmud Torah is even greater than Akravat Tamidin. Shneimar, but it's a pasuk Tabati. Meaning you have two averot: korbanot, korban tamid, and the Torah. You see from here that he didn't come because of the korban; he came because of the Torah. So if you see from here, the Talmud Torah is greater than korban tamid. So Amaleh Abayel Rav Dimi, he says Abayel Rav Dimi, what do you do this with this pasuk in Eretz Yisrael? Al tetzela riv maher. Don't come and go out from a riv maher, meaning don't come and start putting blame on a person that did something bad before you come and you're going to be choker very properly. Pen manta aseba, because at the end of the fight, when they're going to come and they're going to give you rebuke as well, which means if still you're going to have these ta'anot, don't come and say all the sodot to other people. Right? Why? Because they didn't do anything bad. So he says, when Akadosh Baruch Hu comes and tells Yecheskel, go tell Bnei Yisrael that your father was an Emori and your mother was a Chitit, Amra Ruach Paskoni, it says that לפני הקדוש ברוך הוא ריבונו של עולם, אם יבוא אברהם ושרה ינדו לפניך, אתה אומר להם מחלים אותם? Says, this is what you're going to tell them? Right? This is what you're going to tell them? Why are you going to be mochiach otam on something that you're going to put down the fathers and the mothers? He says, what? That's what you would answer to Abraham and Sarah? Rivchar riv etreecha, which is Bnei Yisrael, vesoda acher, al tegal, don't do that. So says the Gemara, he says, umit le reshut kulai? Does the malach have the reshut to say such a thing to Hashem? So he says, in yes. The Rabbi Yosef Chanina, shalosh shemot yesh lo piskin, itmin sigrin piskin. Right? The malach, this malach has three different names. Piskon, itmon, sigron. Piskon, sheposet dvarim klape mala. That's for the zechut of Yisrael. Itmon, sheotem amonot of Yisrael. He closes off the avonot of Yisrael. Sigron, shesokeven shesoger. Once he's going to be mafsik, shuven opoteach. He doesn't open up again, which means for the bakashot and tachronim, right, that he knows that it doesn't help anymore. So therefore, in such a case, right, when we're coming and we're trying to speak about this malach, right, that we're trying to say, this is what you should do or what you shouldn't do, right, now we're learning, right, with the dibur of the malach. Obviously, there's a lot of what to speak about over here. With if you look through here, it's actually beautiful stuff. But for another time, Be'ezrat Hashem. We're going back now to the story of Yoshua and the war. So it says over there like this: Hayaroch shuachal lo betzar. Right? Did you do tefillah even before the tzara? Amar Rabbi Elazar, Olam yakdim adam tefillah letzara. You learn from here that a person should always be makdim the tefillah before the tzara. Because in Elmaleh akidim Avraham tefillah letzara. If Avraham Avinu wouldn't have been makdim tefillah letzara, ben betel uben hai lo nisharim sarim shel Yisrael tzari velid. There would have been nothing left for Bnei Yisrael. Meaning Avraham Avinu already prayed for Bnei Yisrael in this place, and that's why we had a protection. But if not, chas v'shalom, it wouldn't have been good. The Shakish says, "Kol ha'me'ametz atzmo b'tefillah milemata, en lo tzarim milmala." If you come and you delve deep into tefillah down below, there's not going to be any oivim up above. Rabbi Yochanan Amar, that a person should always ask from rachamim from Hashem, that when he's going to pray, all the malachei Asheret should come and help him to pray b'chavana and to pray properly, and then he won't have anything bad up above. Minayin shekiper al lo viduyo. Okay? Nikuda. We go back to the concept that we spoke about beforehand. This is the two dots on Memdalad 44b, the two dots we're talking about. That how do we know that the atonement, meaning the vidui of Achan, actually atoned for him? So Tana Rabbanam, we learned to the Braita Minayin shekibelo viduya. How do we know that there was a kapara for the vidui? Today you're going to be considered ugly, but you're not going to be ugly in Olam Haba. What does it mean kulam chamisha? Shekulan chamisha hen. All the chamisha, they were going to be zocheh laolam haba. It's written Zimri, which is Bnei Zerach, right? And it's also the name of Achan was not written here. And it's written Achan. So Rav Shmuel Chadamar Achan writes Shemo that his real name was Achan. So why was he called Zimri? Sha'asama says Zimri, because he did the action of Zimri ben Salu. And one of them said that his name was really Zimri And why was he called a Khan? She can't have Avonotaim Shel Yisrael because he made all of Bnei Yisrael's sins like a Nachash, which is going around and making all of it bad. So he says, what happens if a person doesn't know how to do vidui? There's the next two dots. Rabbi Yehuda comes and he says, they just tell him that his death should be a thing, but he says, but if he didn't do it, so then he's going to say, right, that no, they're really except for this sin. So he comes and he says, everyone's going to do that. So says the Gemara, what's the problem? He says, no. The reason why we don't want a person to cleanse himself for no reason is because then they're going to be mutzilaz on betin. Because everyone's going to say, listen, look at the guy. The guy's coming and he's saying, except for this avirah. Meaning he's 100% certain that it was false. So then what is this betin doing? Or what are these adim doing? These adim are adim zomim. You're right, we didn't find them to be adim zomim. But these guys are not good guys. So in order not to be mutzilaz on the betin or the adim, we don't want these things to be done. Tano B'nam, we learned to the right. There was a person that he was taking out to be killed. Amar. אם יש בי עוון זה, לא תהיה כמין תתיקה ולחובנותיי. ואם אין בי עוון, תהיה מתיקה ולחובנותיי. ובדים יכול להישא מנוקין, and they're going to be right cleansed. ועדים לא תהיה להם מחילה לעולם, and they should never be forgiven. וכששמעו חכמים לדבר, when they heard this, אמרו זה להחזירו, אי אפשר, we can't come and take him back, שכבר נגזרה גזרה, אלא ייהרג, he should be killed. ויהיה קולר תלוי בצוואר העדים. And then, whatever's going to happen is going to be on the edim, that they would die, right, bidei shamayim. So it says the Gemara Pshita, obviously, kol kemine, says what? Can he actually come and put a safek in the emunut of the edim? So answers the Gemara, lo tzicha de kadur be'zuzade. What happened is that the edim were chazru me'avodatam. So says the Gemara, what does it help if they already retracted? Well, the second that they give a testimony, they can't retract anymore. So therefore, what do you want them to do? So he says, lo tzicha de afagav de kayav itam lemintel. Even though they came and they actually gave reasonings for it, why behemet did they came in, right? Kiahuma said the baya mixed up, as it was a case over there, right? So he comes and he says, at the end of the day, right, they gave a reason for it, and they explained why they lied. Still, at the end of the day, there was a story here. Here it says, according to this, it comes out that the bedin, where without a safek, they actually knew that it was true, so therefore it was false. But once they actually had a psak of a bedin, and Kevin Shigid Shuvnu Chazom they're not allowed to take it back. So therefore they went and they said, what are we going to do? We can't do anything. We can't retract them. That means we know that and there was already Gamardin. Once there's a Gamardin, they have to take him out to be killed. And who's going to be killed? These guys, these Adim are going to be killed. Why was they caused it? There was a story here that says, Kiyuma said by Michsa. Rashi brings down the story. There was a Moches Yehudi. His name was Baya. That he was known as a Rasha. And he died. Right? And the same day that he died, right, also, there were two halvayot. Right? They both went out in the Kivun Bet HaKvarot. All of a sudden, there was Oivim that came. And all the Melavim, they came and they ran away. One of the Talmidim, the Chacham, he stayed hidden, and he was right there in order to watch it over. When the people came back, all of a sudden, it was switched over the mitot. Remember, this is a very, very famous story. It was switched, the coffin of the Gadol Echad and the coffin of the Rasha. So what happened was, he came and he kept on telling everybody, no. Everybody went after the coffin of the Rasha, and they took him with big kavod. And the coffin of the tzaddik went like with a misken, like with a. It was mitzvah. It was mamash. It was hurting him. He says, "How could it be?" On that night, his rabbi came to him in a dream, and he told him, "Al litztaer." He says, "Why? Look at the kavod that I have in Gan Eden." And he showed him all the yisurim of the moches and ginam. So the chacham came and he says, "So now I'm going to explain to you what happened with the chilufei mitot." He says, once happened that anashim were medabrim bigdut tamidei chachamim, and I didn't come. It means the people were speaking against the rabbi. And what happened? He kept quiet. They kept quiet. They come, they spoke about, whether it's this thing or the other thing about, against rabbis. And then what happened? That's it. He wasn't micha. He was punished and he was buried with bizayon. He says this moches, right? He once prepared a suda for Sarayid and nobody came. So what did he do? He came and he gave it all to the aniyim. So because that he gave all that food for the aniyim, right? So what happened? He was buried with a lot of kavod. So the Talmid comes and he says, until when is the moches going to be there? He says, Ad shemut Shimon ben Shatach, yikanes le'anesh tachtav. He says, until the Nasi Sanhedrin is going to be killed, he's going to die, and then he's going to go instead of him. So Talmid says, what? Why is he going to be punished like that? He says, he says, because there's women sorcerers, Jewish women that are doing sorcery, and he's not doing anything. The next day he went quickly and he told Shimon ben Shatach. Shimon ben Shatach came and he gathered together, but Yom Shel Geshamim, 80 Bachurim, very strong. He took every single one of them a kal gadol and a talim mekupelet. He went with them to the traklin and mechashvot. When he got them, he said, You have to grab them and pick them up. Right? Why? Because basically when you pick up the sorcerer, they can't do anything. They have to be in the air. Meaning if she's on the floor, she could do something. But if she's in the air, they can't do anything. So Yishi Shimon ben Shatach, right? The Shmonim Bachorim outside, and then he came in. Amru lo המכשפות, מי אתה? Who are you? אמר להן, מכשף אני. He said, I'm a מכשף. ולנסות את כוחך בכשפים באתי, and I came to test you. אמרו לו, they said, ואלו, what are the כשפים? אמר להן, יכולים להביא בפניכם 80 בחורים, עטופי טליתות יבשות, אף על פי שיום גשמים היום. He says, I'm going to bring you 80 bachurim, which are atufet, they're in talitot, dry talitot, even though it's a day it's raining. Anu lo avene, go show us. Yatsu, they went out, v'ramaz bachurim sheimtinu bachutz, and then he hinted to them, right? They took out the talitot from the kadim, they put them on, and each one of them grabbed the mechashefa, and they picked them up. So therefore they weren't able to use any, and then they went and they killed them all. Afterwards, so now they wanted to come and they wanted to take vengeance against Shimon ben Shatach. So two of them, they went and they said different tanot, right? And they came in front of the Bedin and they said they do check it, that the son of Shimon ben Shatach did an avera, that is a mitat bedin. The Dainim chakru otam, they accepted them, and they were nigmar dino lemitah. So when he was taken out, the cruise, right, what we just said, and then what happened is that he went and he said, right? From once the Edim heard that, they went and they admitted to it. And they said that they did it because of the vengeance. And still, they weren't able to retract the din. And therefore, they went and they killed, right, the son of Shimon ben Shatach. Right, so that's actually an incredible story. The Khatam Sofer brings it down in his Teshuvah. He actually says, actually will accept the testimony of the Dim Chozrim Bayim, right? If the Tanatam Tamam was that it's mutar v'ra'uilaim le'ider sheken, which means that if they would come to the Bedin before the testimony, they would ask them a question, Bedin would come and say, yes, testify falsely. So in such a case, then it's a Haggadah. It's not considered Haggadah, because we said, so when they come and they retract in such a case, and they're not going to come and they're not going to be killed. But in the other case of Shimon ben Shatach, they didn't have any other heter to come and to start testifying. Have a wonderful day.